In the final video for this week, I'm going to introduce a few final concepts in order to help you extend your semiotic analytic skills, especially when dealing with ads. The first idea is intertextuality. Intertextuality refers to the fact that signs and texts don't often have meaning simply in isolation, but rather they refer us to other texts. For example, the idea that a cat is associated with spookiness is derived from a long history of association of cats with witchcraft and its familiars. We are potentially familiar from this history from textbooks or scholarly accounts, or just as likely, a whole set of popular cultural reference points where black cats stand alongside other haunted signs. Therefore, rather than deal with texts individually, we need to think about how meaning works between and across different texts and different types of texts. Some further examples can be seen in ads that require us to be familiar with particular sets of other cultural texts in order to extract their meaning. For example, here we need to be familiar with Warner Brothers Looney Tunes cartoons, the comic strip Garfield, or the transmedia celebrity of Grumpy Cat. Make sure you bear in mind the possible influence of other texts when carrying out semiotic analysis. The second additional idea is cultural specificity. We need to be aware of the extent to which the meanings of texts are culturally specific, which is to say rely on assumptions and information that are specific to particular cultures. Therefore, however obvious signs might appear, their meaning should never be mistaken as universal. Rather, signs always carry their meanings within a particular cultural context, a fact that becomes more apparent when we consider a text from outside our own context. Here's an Indonesian ad. Can you work out what's going on? What do you think the cat means here? The stretched length of the cat, its colour, the grand surroundings, they all seem to point towards a meaning, but it's kind of unclear. It is only when we look towards the product, which we can see in the top corner, a pet cologne, that the meaning becomes a little bit clearer. The ad is visually conveying the smell that the cat leaves through the house. Given that in our cultural context, we do not often think of cats as animals that we would wash, the meaning is more difficult to locate. The usefulness of taking the logo into account leads us into our third and final extension concept, anchorage. The meanings of image-based texts, such as photographs and advertisements, can sometimes be quite ambiguous and unclear. We refer to this as polysemy, a word that means having many meanings. When multiple interpretations can arise from one text or sign, we refer to it as a polysemous sign. To consider what this means, look at this advertisement, where I have removed the slogan. What on earth does this ad mean? What could it be trying to convey? Here are 4 alternative captions, one of which captures the meaning of the original. Take a second and think which one do you think is correct and why. Here's the image with the caption restored. The correct answer was C. This is an example of anchorage, the way in which a caption or words can help lock down or promote a particular meaning for an image. In instances of polysemy, anchorage works to ensure that the audience interpret the preferred meaning of those who produce it. When you analyze advertisements, try and consider how particular meanings of images are encouraged and locked down through the use of words.